Hello guys, I'm going to talk about functions in PLSQL. So I'm going to solve this question. Write a function which will be allocating intake for students according to the registration date when the student gives his or her student code. Good. So if the student has registered between January and February, his intake will be the first intake. If he was registered in between March and April, he will be assigned to the second intake. If he was registered between May and June, he will be assigned to the third intake. And if he was registered after June, he will not be there will not be any intake for that student. There is no intake for you. There is no intake for you. Intake for you. Good. So let's start. First, you're going to create or replace function, and then you write the name of the function. Let's call it allocate intake. After that, we can put parameters. Is a function within parameter? Yes. Why? Because the student will be giving us his or her student's code. That's why we need a parameter. Let's call it code, and then it will be virtual. After that, we put the return type. Return type. What will be our return type? It will be we're going to return the such things. First intake, second intake. It should be a virtual. This is virtual. And that should be our return type is virtual. Let's just do this. Good. And then is okay. Begin and end allocate intake. We have to declare so the variable will be returning a variable, call it intake, and then it must have the same data type with the return type virtual. Let's say even 50 characters right now. Good. Another thing we want, we also need to have the registration date of the entered students. Let's write here registration date, reg date, and then registration date. Do you want to be like that? Maybe this one, yes. Students dot registration date, and then type. This is the column you're referring to. Good. So now let's start our begin part. Select registration date, select registration date into reg reg date from select registration date into reg date from students where code equals to code. Good. I'm using this table. That's why I know some of you maybe they don't know the table I'm using. I'm using a table called student. This is the table student. I have this column is this one, the last one. I also have this column still code. This one, the first one. That's it. That's why I'm selecting this column in from this table, and where the intent code is equals to the one in the table. And then after that, you say if reg date be between if reg date between 1st January, as you can see in my table, you're using the 2022 year 2022. That's why I will be putting here 2022. And not first, 28th Feb 2022. Then we do what? We give you an intake. Then intake variable, this one, the one we created, this one. Then intake will be equals to first intake. Good. Let me do it like this one so that it will be more visible. Else if reg date between, no, it's March 1st March 2022 and 3 and 3 April 2022. Then intake will be equals to intake is equals to second intake. And then else if the last condition, let's do just to copy paste. We're going to do for this condition. Else if the reg date is between the 1st May and 3 June. Then intake will be equals to else we tell him that there is no intake for DBMS outputs those line there is no intake fully. There is no intake fully. And then we end if. After that, you have to return, because exit function must return. You have to return. What are you going to return? You're going to return the intake variable. Return intake. Good. Let's try to run this code and see what will be the output. Good. Function created. Function created. Let's come back in the code and then call our function. So in PLSQL, to call the function, it's not like a procedure. With a procedure, you just write execute and then the name of the procedure. But here, you need to write some code, some lines of code. You need to declare and then begin and end. Finally, end. What are you going to declare? First, we need a variable which will be holding the parameter created. In that variable, we will be holding the code. So let's call it S code. And that variable will be holding the code from the table in the students column. For the table students, that's why I'm going to do this one, students dot stu code, and then percentage type, and then you ask the user to enter his code. Enter his code. Stu code. Okay, you have to put this single quote because this variable or this column, the data type of this column is a varchar. That's why you have to put in that single quote. Another variable we need is the variable that will be holding our result. You can even call it result. And then this variable will have the same data type as the data type of the returned variable. Our returned variable is intake, and its data type is this one, varchar. Okay, and then here we want to call the function. Let's call it like that. Result equals to the name of the function. The name of our function is allocate intake. Result equals to allocate intake, and then we pass this S code as the argument. Good. S code. Okay. Because this is the code of the student. After that, we want to print the result. What are we going to print? Let's print tbms. Let's print output. Let's print line. What are we going to print? We're going to print the result. So when the student will be entering his code, the results will be printing. Good. That's okay. Let's run also this code. Let's run it. As you can see, we are requested to enter the student's code. Let's take this one. Okay. Add intake. What is the registration date? Let's check. Voila. It was registered in June. Let's try for another one. another registration range. Let's take this one for January. Which student is this? Okay, reg number 07. First, let's do this, and then that should be reg number 07. Reg number 07. Okay, first intake. You can see first intake. Let's take another one for the second intake. I think this one must be for the second intake. Reg number 05. Good. First we paste the coding and then reg number 05. 05. Good. Second intake. Okay.